Is Volkswagen currently having their iPhone moment? At least if you believe the CEO of Volkswagen, Mr. Herbert Diess, who just made a speech to all of his employees where he said, quote, "Ladies and gentlemen, we're now valued like an automotive company, Tesla like a tech company." He goes on and says, "The big question is, are we fast enough? The honest answer is maybe, but it is becoming increasingly critical. In fact, if we continue at our current pace, it's going to be very tight." So let's think for a minute. Where is Mr. Diess coming from? Why did he made up his mind to warn about this kind of Nokia versus Apple-like situation going on again? And I want to look at the numbers of the vehicle sales in the US first, where we can see what's happened when Tesla introduced the Model 3. So what you can see on this chart is the main German OEMs, Mercedes, BMW and Audi, which is part of the Volkswagen group, and the car sales in the US. And over time you can see that starting from 2016, the sales became a little bit flat, and starting from 2017 they actually started to fall. I'm not saying that the Model 3 is responsible for the decline of sales. There's different factors. The German cars have never been really strong in the US. They make more sales in other countries. However, it shows you the strength of the new product, namely the Model 3 from Tesla, coming into this market, overtaking all of the competitors, taking more than 50% of the market share. That's unseen before. So my best guess is that Mr. Diess is alarmed by what he has seen from the US market and what's happening there. And also because he obviously sees what's happening in China currently, where Tesla just launched and finished the Gigafactory in Shanghai. And last year in Shanghai, I was witnessing how fast Tesla is actually moving in China. In 2019, in January, there was just basically a mud field, nothing more, when Tesla was breaking ground for Gigafactory 3. When I visited in the summertime, about July, there was already the factory building up and they were installing the first tools. When I came back in October 2019, I already saw the first Model 3 that were locally produced in this new factory parked outside. So it's incredible how fast this is all growing. And China is very important because it's the biggest car market in the world. It's the fastest growing and the biggest car market for electric vehicles. And for German OEMs, it's traditionally a very strong market, taking up to 60% of the sales volume of some of the manufacturers. So it's very important what's happening there. And if we see how fast Tesla is growing, I made some sales estimations here about what I'm expecting in the coming years. So in 2019, Tesla delivered around 40,000 Model 3 that were introduced into the market. But those cars have been produced in the US and shipped over to China, so still having the cost disadvantages and also like the long shipping times. Now in 2020, that now Shanghai Gigafactory is up and running and rumored to be already of a production rate of weekly 3,000 vehicles, which means in total they could produce 150,000 vehicles in China. So my estimations have been a little bit more conservative. I'm guessing that Tesla will be selling around 100,000 Model 3 locally made in the Chinese market. And of course, the benchmark has to be like what is Tesla currently producing in Fremont, which is around 350,000 cars. So in the long run, I see that the Tesla Gigafactory in Shanghai will be producing the same amount of Model 3. And also there's a Model Y upcoming as well. So for China, my best guess is that the introduction of the Model 3 will, of course, have a huge effect to the market, and we will see that the German car manufacturers may see a slowing growth of their car sales. I'm not going as far as I see that there will be a dip in growth and that they're actually losing growth and have a de-accelerated growth. But I think they will be growing much slower, and at some point the Model 3 will take over all of the other cars and will sell more. And the reasons why I think that Tesla Model 3 will take over the other manufacturers is that because the car is just so compelling. Plus, the Chinese consumers, they are really interested in taking up new technology. And I mean, like the Model 3 is a smartphone on wheels, right? You have all of this digital entertainment inside. You have the autopilot, which enables self-driving in the future, and you also have a total cost of ownership, which is very, very competitive. So it's currently priced around 290,000 yuan, which is incredibly cheap for the performance of a Model 3, which, in a drag race can beat a Porsche 911. And at the same time, I believe that the prices will actually even come down further, as the locally produced Model 3 has very good gross margins, so they're rumored to have like 30 to 40% of gross margins that could be enabled due to the local manufacturing. So that's incredible piece of value here, and I don't think that the combustion engine cars have that much more of cost reduction potential left, whereas the battery technology is getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and Tesla is leading the way here. And if we spin this even further, if you think about Model Y, which is rumored to be, ramping up in Q1 2020 much faster than originally thought, it's coming to the market. There have been the first VIN registrations in the US, so it's obviously already coming to the market in the US. And I'm thinking it will also be introduced into the Chinese market very quickly and locally produced at the Gigafactory 4. This could mean enormous growth for Tesla in China, because the Model Y is a SUV version, similar to looking than a Model 3, but this kind of market is much, much bigger. So if you look at those kind of charts, it could outsell any other car that Tesla is currently selling, generally globally, because the Model Y has just so much potential. So yes, Tesla is having his iPhone moment in the US, very soon also in China, and possibly in the future with the Gigafactory Berlin also in Germany and Europe. And Mr. Diess is right in outlining what's happening. He's right in telling everybody to move quicker, because ultimately Volkswagen could actually face the same problems like Nokia did, but at least they're facing those kind of challenges and are not laughing about the iPhone or the Model 3 as Steve Ballmer from Microsoft did back then.
$500 fully subsidized with a plan? I said, that is the most expensive phone in the world, and it doesn't appeal to business customers because it doesn't have a keyboard, which makes it not a very good email machine. Now, it may sell very well or not. We have our strategy.
So what do you think? What will happen to the German car manufacturers in China and globally? Do you think the Tesla Model 3 will be able to take a lot of market share, as I have outlined? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.